Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Morning, everybody. Today's chapel speaker, a Principia alum, is one of the most passionate scientists I've ever known. Whenever given an opportunity to explore science deeper, he took it. Playing with him on the soccer field, I got to see his dedication and love for the sport. This speaker's enthusiasm and love for life are present in all his interactions, whether he's being goofy or serious. Please help me welcome onto the stage, Furbush.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me here at Principia. It's so good to be back. I absolutely love Principia. I keep coming back. You guys just keep inviting me back. I appreciate it. I also want to say congratulations to the soccer team. That's really exciting. I'm a huge soccer player, so I saw the Friday semifinal. I saw Japhet score. Good job, Japhet. So that was really awesome to hear. Okay, so today I'm going to talk about being an ally. Now, when I came to Principia 2 years ago to be a teacher, I needed an ally. I needed allies more than ever in my life, and we'll get to the reason why. So when I came to Principia, I had to come to Principia as an out gay man, all right? And that was very difficult for me to do. So I needed many, many allies to support me through that. Now, when I tell you that I'm gay, when I come up here and I talk about being gay, right, that's going to sit differently with many of you, all right? So I kind of put this spectrum of 3 different responses to that news, right? To the fact that someone's up here talking about this. The first category that people might be responding is, wow, woohoo, go gay people, go Ross, right? You already have your rainbow flag. You're like so on board, cool. Okay, the second group in the middle, they're like I'm a little uncomfortable. I'm not used to talking about this, right? I don't know a lot. And if I was caught in a conversation with someone, I might mess up. I might offend a gay person, right? So you're kind of in the middle ground, okay? And then there's a third group who might have been taught that being gay is wrong, okay? They might be already thinking that what I'm doing up here is wrong. They might be judging me. They might think that I'm less. They might think that I'm not a Christian Scientist, right? So that's kind of the spectrum that I'm imagining I'm approaching, right? But I'd like us to all learn today. I'd like us all to leave here and to grow together, okay? So let's set little goals for this very diverse set of responses, okay? So first I should say that this is hard for me to talk about this up here, right? This is not comfortable, but I would love to do this with you, okay? So that's kind of my olive branch to meet you guys in the middle. Cool. So the first group, all right, I want you guys to grow and be even better flag bearers, okay? Raise that rainbow flag even higher. Cool. All right, and also be patient, right? We already outlined that this community has different thoughts about this, different comfort levels, okay? The middle group, I challenge you to learn something new today, right? Start leaning into the discomfort. Start practicing what it's like to have difficult conversations, right? And then that third group, I ask a very simple thing, and that's just that you alleviate any judgment of me, okay? While I'm standing up here, if you find yourself judging me, right, or judging another gay person, just try to consciously keep that back. I promise it'll help you, and it'll help me up here, right? Cool. So now we set those ground rules. I'm going to give you my little origin story, and I wish I was a superhero. My favorite's definitely Star-Lord. But I'm going to give you a little background of how I came to come up here on the stage and talk to you. And I'm going to try to go quick. Okay. Okay, so I went to the upper school for 4 years. I was in theater, I was in science. Of course, I played on the soccer team. Really great experience. Then I went to University of Washington. I studied birds, and then, of course, I also played soccer. I played 1 year at the college. Really great. And when I played at the college, it was the year that they changed the homosexuality policy. It used to be that in order to be here, you had to lie, you had to promise you were going to strive for healing, right? And a lot of people were kicked out. A lot of professors were fired. A lot of teachers were fired for this, right? So they changed that policy this semester when I was playing soccer. So pretty cool. Okay, next. Then I came to the upper school for 2 years to be a teacher. It was so much fun. I love it. I loved it so much. I was on the science faculty. There's me teaching in the water. I went on amazing trips like Samunye. And then I was in Parent House. And I mean, we won both years I was here, so NBD, okay? And then I was also a coach for the girls' JV team. And then now I've moved to DC for a different job. It was a very hard decision because I loved teaching here. I loved it so much. I've since been able to play in international tournaments. They're like the gay Olympics, where you play soccer against like Brazil and Spain and England and Sweden. And it was super fun. So that's me and my teammates in Paris. I still teach biology. This is me teaching a class in Peru. And this is my boyfriend, and we met playing soccer, and I'm a center mid, he's a forward, and this is us with my nieces, and we are going crabbing. And I know what you're thinking, why would I ever date a forward, right? Don't ask me, I'm still surprised I'm dating a forward. Great. So let's talk a little bit about my time at Principia Upper School. So when I was a freshman, a handful of students were kicked out for being gay, okay? I didn't really know, I wasn't part of that process, but everyone kind of was aware that they were kicked out for being gay and for acting on it, right? And I didn't know I was gay, okay? And one reason I didn't know is because I didn't have any mirrors, right? And when I say mirror, I mean some adults in the community that was a gay Christian Scientist for me to identify with and to start discovering my own identity, right? So I was all I had was what Christian Science was telling me, which, actually what some Christian Scientists were telling me, which was that it was wrong and sinful, right? And that what was on TV. And I didn't see myself in either of those, because I know it's not wrong, and I know I'm not this character on TV, so where do I fit in this? Okay, so when I went to University of Washington, I had to start imagining myself, where do I fit in this Christian Science story, right? Because I believe this religion is big enough for all of us. I believe it, right? But where do I fit in? So I first had to learn, what does it mean to be gay? That means that I love, instead of a woman, a man, right? And that I want to be romantic with a man, right? And practice those qualities that are important in relationships, like harmony and peace, right, and joy and teamwork, right? Instead of doing those with a woman, I want to practice those spiritual qualities with a man, right? So I started kind of working with Christian Science, and I came up with this concept, or this way to conceptualize where I fit in with the Christian Science community. And there's a reason there's mac and cheese up there, and that's because I thought of this while I was eating mac and cheese at Panera, okay? So delicious, creamy, tomatoes, cilantro is like my favorite herb. You guys should know that. So here's the way I conceptualize where I fall into this Christian Science family, okay? So here we have this dot in the middle, and that's God, okay? That represents spirituality, okay? And then here, sorry, the mac and cheese had to go, but you got the point. Okay, so here, this red ring is the human existence red ring, okay? So we all kind of fall on this human existence circle, and we're all trying to get towards spirituality, right? Leaving the materiality behind to get closer to spirituality, okay? I learned that in Sunday school. So here I found myself on the circle, right? Okay, I'm a gay man on this human existence circle. And then over here are all my straight friends, right? So they're over on the circle too of materiality, okay? And so what I heard Christian Scientists telling me was, okay, Ross, in order to get closer to God, right? First, you have to stay on the human existence circle and become straight. And then once you're straight, ta-da, you have a pathway to God, right? That was proposed to me. But see, for me, that journey spends a lot longer on this human existence circle, right? It still was, okay, I have to be attracted to a different person rather than leaving attraction completely behind, right? Like we talk about in order to move to that circle in our relationships that we have to be less interested in the physical and the materiality and the sensual, right? And move towards the spiritual qualities. But people were telling me that I had to just be sensual but to a different person on the human existence spectrum, right? So my argument was, no, I'm going to just work from where I am right now towards spirituality, okay? So that was super helpful for me to be like, okay, look, I belong. Awesome. Okay, so now we're going to go back. You kind of heard my origin story. So now we're going to go back and talk about what is an ally. An ally is someone that allows our peers, right, to share their talents, their skills, and their godlike qualities with the community, right? So how can we empower all those around us to reach that point, right? To express to their fullest. Now, an ally is different than a friend, right? You hang out with your friends, you have similar interests to your friends. You might not have similar interests or hang out with your allies, right? But allies, I think, are something a little more powerful, right? Because they step in when it matters the most, okay? So now I have 3 stories to talk about how allies impacted me and supported me here while I was at Principia just 2 years ago. Okay, so when I was coming to Principia 2 years ago, I was really nervous because of this controversy of gay people being. So I called my practitioner that I've been working with for 2 years, okay? And this was hard for me. And when I told him, he actually said that gay people didn't belong at Principia. Okay, so that's like a religious figure that I looked up to a lot, right? And all of a sudden he was telling me this, and it was crushing, right? But what did I do? I called my allies, I called my family, right? And they were able to tell me that I do belong here. They were able to affirm that Christian Science is big enough for all of us, all right? Super helpful for allies to give me that Christian Science support. The next thing, while I was here maybe a year, and I heard one of my peers from upper school, all right, someone my age, so this isn't a generational thing, right? He told me, or he was talking behind my back, okay? I called him and I said, hey, I hear you've been talking behind my back. What's with this, huh? And he said also that I didn't belong teaching at Principia because I was gay, and that gay people couldn't be Christian Scientists. Once again, this was crushing, okay? So what did I do? I turned to my allies for emotional support, okay? And they helped me through it. Now, finally, I was still a teacher here, and I was applying to another Christian Science institution over the summer, okay? And I have this great resume, right? I'm working at Prin. Great. So they said that I couldn't work at their institution because I was gay, but that they could put me in the laundry room or the kitchen, okay? So here I have like this college degree, right? All this experience, these publications, and they say, you can't be involved with our everyday going-ons, right? You have to be in the kitchen and the library. That's like discrimination at its core, if you look at history, right? And then I said, okay, where's that application? I'm in. Where's the laundry room? Where's the kitchen application? And they said, oh, we only hire locals, okay? So that was very hard for me. And what did I do? I turned to my allies, okay? And they helped me with resources, with writing letters, with putting me in touch with the right people, with moving this forward. And since this Christian Science institution has changed their policy, which is amazing, right? And I was able to do that with my allies. Not alone. I would have been ignored alone. But it was the allies that helped me, okay? Cool. So we're going to get a little Jesus now. So now that we kind of know what an ally is and what they did to help me, I'd like you guys to turn to a partner, try to identify this story, but then I want you to count how many allies do you see in this photo, okay? So go ahead and turn your partner. I'll give you guys like 30 seconds. Let's start with that, and then we'll see where we go. Go. All right, let's bring it back. All right, so as you probably know, this is a story from Mark 2. And what had happened is that Jesus was in this house, and all of these people crowded in. And this man who really, really needed help and healing, who was paralyzed, couldn't get in. Okay, so how many allies? What was the number that we got out there? Yeah, go for it, Nick. 34, okay. Any other numbers out there? Yeah. 4, okay. Any other numbers? 5, okay, cool. All right, so that's great. So now we could kind of argue about this a little bit. I saw 4, okay. Now, the reason I saw 4 is from the story you know that 4 men, or 4 people actually, lowered this paralyzed man through the roof to get to Jesus. So that's what each of these 4 ropes are. The reason I say 4, right, instead of 5 is because I think no matter what, we're going to be healed by Jesus, right? No matter what, he's got our back. God's got our back, right? But these 4 people made it a lot easier for this person in their human existence to reach God. They supported them. They empowered them, right? So I'm already late, but there's lots of different things that we can do in our everyday life, not just the LGBT people. I don't want you to leave today and being like, okay, chapel today was about like helping gay people. Cool. No, it's about doing a lot more of that. It's about being an ally to the voiceless, to the people that don't necessarily have it as easy as you. So I gave a couple examples in the classroom, right? If a teacher is constantly mispronouncing or forgetting someone's name, right, what can you do as an ally? You can be like, oh, hey, like, Mr. Smith, it's actually this, right? That's a great ally move. You're giving a voice to the voiceless. I learned also that people from Africa, some of my friends, right, they got frustrated when others referred to their homeland as all of Africa instead of naming the specific country, right? That was an easy thing for me to adjust, right, which supported them and made them feel more seen and part of this community, right? I was inspired by the women's soccer team, right, that's trying to get equal pay for winning championships across the world. And so what I did at my work, right, the photographer took a picture of the 3 top men that raced, and I was like, I want to be an ally today. And I gathered the 3 women that got top 3, and I brought them to the photographer, and I said, here, these are the top 3, right? Small thing that shows, look, I'm trying to be an ally. Here on the 5th anniversary of the policy change, I'm speaking, and a team of teachers put up an LGBTQ poster in the upper school, right? It's by the science buildings. Science rooms, okay? So that's a great way that they can contribute and be an ally. So I left this column over here for you guys, right? You could all come up with different ways in your everyday life that you're helping those, right, from some inspired moment, helping them find a voice. So now I'm kind of leaving the question to you that when you leave today, how are you going to, what inspires you, and how are you going to take action to make sure that everyone in this community is fully realized, that their talents are fully expressed, and that their God-given qualities are fully expressed. So with that, I'm going to say thank you, and then also bring up Travis Branningham. He'll get into that. Travis has been a big part of my life from the beginning.
Good morning, everybody. So I have known Ross since he was 8 years old, and it's been my honor to know him for that long. And even when he was a young man, he was like this bouncing ball of energy that was hard to contain. He was a special young man then, and he's still a dear, dear friend today. And when Ross came out and told me that he was gay, I knew in that instance that nothing had changed, that he was still that bouncing ball of joy and dominion and kindness and love. And I'm very grateful to have Ross here today to share with you all his perspective on what it means to be gay and a Christian Scientist. But there are 2 things I do want to share with you all from my perspective and from my seat as head of school that I want us to think about. One is we must continue to work actively to understand the other in our community. And I think Ross did a nice job of inferring that today. But it's so important as a community that we're regularly leaning into trying to understand when somebody doesn't talk the way we talk, or when they don't think the way we think, or they don't behave the way we behave, that we actually take the time to understand them, understand their perspective, understand where they're coming from and why they operate the way they operate, instead of drawing assumptions or biases. Those are really dangerous things. And sometimes we assume things that are not fair and aren't necessarily well thought out. So as a community, it's so important that we're embracing the other, looking to understand each other and get to know one another better. The second thing is a high priority to me, and you've heard me talk about this with you all before, but that we're a school of belonging. Everybody at Principia should feel safe. Everybody at Principia should feel included. Everybody at Principia should feel like they have a home here while they're going through their spiritual journey and trying to figure out where they fit into this giant world that we all live in, this giant universe. It's not an easy track to go through on this plane of existence, so hopefully here at Principia it's a safe spot for everybody to walk through that journey and figure it out. I'm also grateful for the progress that was made in 2014. And I hope you all are aware of the important work that has been done since then by our cultural competency and diversity and equity and inclusivity group. I would like to take a minute and actually share what that statement says, because I think it's really important to underscore everything that's been shared this morning. And it says, as Principians, we value each individual as a complete, unlimited expression of God, divine good. As Christian Scientists, we recognize our individual and shared responsibility to see all people within our community and around the world as limitless and inherently good, and to ensure that the view of others governs our interactions with them. We create an environment in which each person connected to this community feels loved, respected, and valued, as evidenced by respectful interactions, kind acts, compassion, and freedom from feeling judged as a person. We do this through an ongoing educational process at both the individual and institutional levels. The competency statement goes on. We obviously are running out of time. I'd love for you all to take the time, teachers, faculty, crew leaders, please take the time to review this with students. Help them engage it, help them understand it better, because I think it's a really thoughtful, well-articulated cultural competency statement. And I do want to share a few last thoughts. We are committed to this vital work as a community. It's important that we're standing by people like Ross and helping him on his spiritual journey as he works through his path with God. And I also clearly remember standing here in Ridgeway 5 years ago. Actually, I wasn't standing up here. I was standing right there. If I'm thinking clearly, I was standing right there in front of our whole community. And there was a lot of tension at the time and a lot of fear and a lot of concern. And I remember pulling out my Bible and reading this passage from Isaiah. And I still think it's applicable today, and it's something we can continue to strengthen and improve upon. And this is from Isaiah 54:2. Enlarge the place of thy tent, and let them stretch forth the curtains of thine habitations. Spare not, lengthen thy cords, and strengthen thy stakes. All students, faculty, and staff and community members here at Principia deserve to feel comfortable and under the shade of that tent. And I hope all of us are committed to upholding Principia as a school of belonging now and going forward. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Ross, for an outstanding chapel. Have a great day. Chapel is dismissed.
Thanks, Travis.